Guys, it's Point Hard Book Club Day and we're going to be chatting about the claw. And I always want to go like, you know, off Toy Story where they go, the claw, when I read that title. So yeah, I'm sorry if I sound a bit croaky. I've had the flu, so I've got a bit of a croak and a bit of a cough, but I'll try and mute myself if I cough so you don't have to listen to that. So yes, hello everyone. The claw, yeah, ooh, the claw. So yeah, hi everyone, hi Leroy, hi Melina. So we've got a brilliant guest joining us, which is Grady Hendrix. I'll see if I can add him in and then we can get started. Sent him an invite, fingers crossed that I've done that right. But what a wild ride this one was. It was so much fun. Hi Emma. Hi Grady.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm alright, how are you?
So far, so good.
Yeah.
I was just sitting around watching Jungle Prison Camp, so just couldn't
Wow,
come at a better time.
I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, we've all got to have a bit of Jungle Prison Camp.
Yeah, you don't want to miss it.
No, it's unmissable. I really want to know what that was. It's not an actual real program, right?
It's gore porn. I know it's not. I think it's probably like a knockoff of Cannibal Holocaust or something.
Yeah, it's gotta be. It's gotta
Yeah.
be. It did make me chuckle. Yeah.
Also, what is a Lipanzer horse? Are those dancing horses?
I haven't got a clue. I don't
Okay.
know.
No. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, no, I gotta say, right here with it. But it left me with. Oh wait, we got different covers.
Yeah, so this is the UK cover. And
Oh.
then obviously when I sent yours, I was trying to get you this cover so you could have like this pulpy, pinky, purpley cover. But unfortunately it didn't work out and you ended up with the US cover. But
No. The UK cover is very Christopher Pike looking.
yeah, it is, definitely. So I think this was towards the end of the Point Horror run. So this was like, 96 we had this over here. So it was towards the end of the run. So they were probably trying to go for that pulpy kind of look, I think. But yeah, I did like a vote the other day between like this one and the one that you've got, and everyone seemed to prefer this cover. So it's very eye-catching.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh, someone just said they're white dancing horses from Vienna. Got it.
Oh, Kirsty.
No wonder Kelly doesn't want to be around them.
Yeah, I never noticed that. Oh,
what?
dear.
No, oh yeah, because at one point, Kelly gets Rachel to do something. Rachel's like, I'll only do it if you go back to see the Lipanzer horses with me.
Oh, yes, I remember that bit now. Oh, no, that's took a whole nother level of friendship there.
Exactly.
Oh,
and I just wanted to say, sorry, someone in the comments just said that they were one of the voice actors from a new episode of Super Scary Haunted Homeschool, which is my podcast. I'm working with Mike Walls and Chris LaMartina, who did the WNUF Halloween special on new episodes. We've got 3 new episodes coming out.
Yeah.
The next one's on Monday. The old episodes have been remastered. So, yeah.
Amazing. We'll definitely check that out. What I'll do, I'll put a link in my stories after to it as well.
Nice. Okay.
So people can check it out. Yeah, definitely.
And there's a page for it on my website, and they'll take you to Spotify or wherever.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, that's so exciting. Woo-hoo.
Someone didn't even know I had a podcast. Oh, my God. Yes. Super Scary Haunted Homeschool. You find it at GradyHendrix.com. It's on Spotify and wherever else.
It's so good. Check it out. Definitely. Excited for new episodes as well. Definitely.
Oh, yeah. No, and there's one of them. It's all, I thought I'd get out of the 70s, but it's all 70s. But one of the episodes, I think it's the last one. The last new one we're putting up is about is really, really good and long. It's like an hour and 10 minutes. But yeah. So anyway,
exciting.
We're here for Creeping Gardens.
Yes, Creeping Gardens. So, just introduce you just quickly. Not that you need any introduction, Grady, but this is Grady Hendrix. And Grady's new book, How to Sell a Haunted House, was recently released. There it is. And we've got like these sprayed edges in the UK. Yeah, and I managed to get like this special edition version as well with like the different
Oh, the gold.
foil.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I
Like
saw it and I was like, yeah, I've got to have that one.
bit of foil.
Yeah, so if you like creepy haunted house tale and creepy puppets and dolls, which are my absolute fear, Grady, my
What?
absolute fear, creepy
Yeah.
dolls.
How can you
Oh,
be
and
scared of these
puppets.
guys?
Oh no! I think it matches the book cover.
Yeah, they're not scary. They're friendly.
Oh dear, no, scary, creepy. But yeah, no, I'm absolutely enjoying it. I'm about halfway through it, and I'm absolutely loving it. It's
Oh,
brilliant.
thank you.
It's kind of giving me like Annabelle vibes and like Child's Play, and maybe like Puppet Master. You know, those
So
kind of
have you
vibes.
gotten to Pumpkin yet?
Yeah, I think I've just got
Yeah.
there.
No, someone was
Yes.
asking that Pumpkin's definitely he's based on my wife's childhood buddy,
Oh
Snokio.
wow.
Yeah, so it's been very validating to help make Snokio more well known.
Oh, you've made him famous. That's what
Yeah.
you've done.
I
Oh,
try.
yeah.
I do the little
Oh
things I can.
dear. But yeah, do check out Grady's new book because I am loving it at the moment. So yeah,
Well,
check that
I
out.
hope it holds up. I hope it doesn't let you down at the end.
Oh, I can't see it letting me down. I love
Yeah, that's what they all say. And then I get a
No.
1-star Yelp review.
Oh no, no.
Mm.
But yeah, so we're going to be talking about The Claw, which was by Carmen Adams, who, when I looked at the copyright page, because I tend to always do that
Hmm.
nowadays, it was actually written by Carol Anshaw. And I
Yeah. Who
think
is
she
that?
wrote a couple of teen books, Aquamarine or something like that. My memory's a bit bad, but yeah. So it's interesting how she used this like pen name, and yeah, I might investigate that a little bit more just to see the hows and the
Yeah.
whys and see if I can figure out, because we only got one of Carmen Adams' point horror offerings over here, and I can't actually find that she did any more like horror kind of
She did. She
writing.
did. So she did a
Oh,
book
did she?
called under the Carmen Adams name. She did a book called The Band a year before,
Oh, the
and
band, yes, I
because
remember.
that is the band winds up being vampires, right?
Yes, I
So
remember that. That's unlocked
she
a
did a
core memory.
yeah, and so she did a sequel to it called Song of the Vampires after The Claw. So The Claw is the only
Oh,
Carmen Adams book that is not a vampire book.
oh,
And did you read her
interesting.
author bio?
Yeah, where she's like
I
raised three wolves. What
Well,
was
I
it?
don't know.
Let's
Is
have a
she
look.
taking the piss of
She's got to be
Carmen
trained
Adams
wolves.
lives with her trained wolves, Pamela, Sharon, and Gladys,
Imagine if
in
that's
a
her kids.
in a remote area on the northern coast of California where she writes, races motorcycles, and practices diving. I mean,
That's
I just
got
feel
to
like
be.
a trained wolf named Gladys. I believe the cliff diving. I believe the motorcycle racing. I believe Pamela and Sharon. But how do you name a trained wolf Gladys?
Gladys. Imagine if that's her children though, and they're just like they read this years later and they're like, oh.
Yeah.
So can you imagine? Yeah, I love that bio. I think someone sent me like a screenshot of it whilst they were reading it, and we were just laughing about it. It's hilarious.
Well,
Um,
there's a couple. It's funny. There's three things in this book that are just briefly glossed over that I want to know more about, and I'll bring them up as we get to them. But one of them was that author bio and Gladys the Wolf.
Gladys the Wolf. We just want to know
Yeah.
what happened to Gladys the Wolf.
Where's
That's
Gladys
the
now?
big mystery of the
Yeah.
book, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Emma's put she reckons it's all true. Yes, I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Why would I doubt it?
No, we shouldn't. We should never doubt anything that's written in a point horror ever. Oh dear. Right, I will crack on. I'll do like
Yeah.
I'll do like a little summary. Apologies if I sound a bit croaky. I've had a bit of flu, and I will try and mute if I cough.
Okay.
So just to warn you, so I don't deafen everyone. But yeah, but I'm okay. I'm fine. If you've got any comments or anything in the chat, pop them up. We'll try and read them out if we can. Normally funny things happen in the chat, which is hilarious. So this month we took a trip to Crichton Gardens Zoological Park.
Or creeping gardens.
Creeping Gardens.
But Jessica Freed calls it that, but she's sarcastic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think she got like one mention, didn't she, at the beginning,
Jessica
and then
Freed,
never to be seen again.
there's Jessica and her friend, I think, her like hench friend, and then they're
Yeah,
gone.
yeah. And I think all we knew about Jessica was she doesn't like camels or doesn't like riding camels or something like that.
Yeah,
well.
she doesn't want to hug a mangy camel.
That was it. Hug a camel. I
Yeah.
mean, don't know what we
Sure.
would do if we didn't know that information, to be honest.
Exactly.
But yeah, so apparently this is a very small town in, I want to say is it Danube, Illinois?
Danube, sure.
Yeah.
I'll buy it.
So it's a small town, but it seems to have all the amenities. A zoo, an ice rink, a murderous leopard on the loose, everything. Lots of wood and greenery everywhere.
A really grim highway underpass.
Yes, which
Like,
had
that is
like
the-
wooden stilts or something, it was mentioned, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it seemed to be very long too. Like it went on a bit. Like
Yeah.
I mean, Danube, Illinois. I want to visit.
Yeah, I want to go. Is it actually a real place? Is this a real place? No, it's not.
I don't know.
I
Ask
Oh,
the Steve
dear.
Jobs Ouija board and see what it says.
Yeah, we'll have to have a look. But yeah, so Creeping Gardens is like this crumbling zoo. It's overgrown and unkept. And it desperately needs repairing and a little bit of spicing up. And it's totally a place to give you the wim whams.
Yeah.
That is a phrase I will never forget, and I'm going to use it in everything
I gotta
from
say,
now on.
so is that a phrase that you've ever heard before?
I've never heard that before, ever.
The only place I've ever come across that phrase is Stephen King uses it a lot in some of his earlier books. And I gotta wonder if Carmen Adams got it from a King book. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
I like the whim whams.
Yeah, and just like threw it in there. Or it stuck with her and she just remembered it and popped it in. It was like a little tribute. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently each year only 6 interns get picked to do these zoo internships. And besties Kelly and Rachel are the lucky people. I mean, what are the chances of that they'll get picked together that get picked this year? And the zoo is Kelly's first real job other than babysitting. So she has to be professional. And it kind of makes her feel important, even though she's scared of big animals.
But that's partly
still
why she wanted the
perseveres.
internship.
Yeah.
To cure her fear of big animals.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I mean, she was pretty terrified, but she did well. She did well, our Kelly did. Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, does this cure her fear? I mean, she does. Big animals almost murder her a few times.
Wow.
So, or she thinks they do. So.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then obviously you get creepy phone calls starting. Blood red creepy notes arrive. There's like a slashed locker, which is like obviously what's on the cover of the book. And there's also rumours that something happened to the interns last year.
What is up? That
that's the biggest mystery. What happened? We need to know. And the owner of the zoo apparently there's a rumour that the owner lets the animals roam free at night. And then someone goes all like Jurassic Park style and leaves the leopard cage open. So the black leopard escapes and terrorises everyone. Everyone's scared for their lives. They don't really seem that scared. But yeah, was it a careless mistake or was it malicious? And why is Kelly being terrified and targeted specifically? It's classic point horror. But yeah, my first question is simply, how was this zoo not closed down? Even when the leopard, I keep going to call it a panther, the leopard escapes, they still let visitors into the zoo. How on earth did it survive? It should have been closed, right?
I mean, I feel like, yes. Also, like the zoo, I don't know. So Dr. Hofstadter is the head of the zoo. And the rumor that he lets the animals, you're leaving out a little part, the rumor that he lets the animals out at night to run around, and then he rides around on the back of an elephant. And
on the elephant.
Yeah, and I think I think Kelly says later there was something particularly creepy about this image of such a fat man riding high up on an elephant's back. I'm like, is that, like, what does his weight have to do with it?
Yeah.
What is the height? Like, I would, also, why is that creepy? I don't know. Kelly has some very specific and strange fears.
Yes.
Large animals, large men
and obviously maybe
elephants.
like she's thinking of like these things as well. So why is she even thinking about that to start with? It's
yeah,
bit scary.
Exactly. But yeah, the zoo really is. It's funny because there's all this competition for internships, but it doesn't seem to be a very good zoo. Although I do love that. And there's a really, what is it? It's really a really specific thing when they go there, and I think, oh yeah. They meet the other zookeepers, and there's a lot of talk about how zoologists are super important at the zoo, and that Pam Perkins is a perfect role model for young women who want to be zoologists. And then they say they meet the zookeepers, including the veterinarians who supervise the mating of the polar bears. Do they need supervision? How much supervision do the polar bears need to mate?
Oh dear, I know. There was like so many like random little tidbits of things going on in this zoo. Like this zoo should just needs to be closed down. Yeah,
exactly.
I love that polar bear bit. That was hilarious.
But I mean, I think this whole book.
Sorry, go on. No, go on.
No, I was just gonna say, but interesting that I remember this zoo makes a lot of money, and we'll talk about why later, but this zoo rakes it in.
Oh, they do well. So yeah, and someone is obviously fiddling the books to make themselves some money.
We hear about like how much money the accountant's getting skimming from the zoo.
Yeah,
it's a considerable amount.
And this is why what was his name? Griffin was happy to give away like free snacks, free Coca-Cola, because it's not going to bankrupt the zoo in any way at all. No way at all.
Exactly. Griffin Black, of all people.
Griffin Black. Ooh.
And someone just mentioned polar bears aren't as incompetent at procreating as pandas as far as they know. And that's exactly where my head went, because pandas famously aren't very good at that. And polar bears, don't tar polar bears. They're the wrong bear, I think.
They're the wrong bear.
I think Carmen Adams is just using her memory, and she tars polar bear to bear brush.
Yeah. Oh dear, she got her bears muddled up there, didn't she? She really did. But what did you think of Kelly as like a main protagonist for A Point Horror Girl? Like, did you like her? Was she likable?
You know,
like
I don't know.
half.
Yeah. So here, okay. So on the one hand, there's a Kelly I like. The Kelly who's like scared of large animals, who's obsessed with this image of Dr. Hofstadter riding around the elephant, who makes salad with M&Ms in it and can't cook, and but insists on cooking every meal for her parents because they're too busy to do any cooking. And but there's another Kelly I really don't like, and that's the Kelly who brags about being Rachel's friend, even when it wasn't cool to have a black friend. Like there's gross about that implication. She and Rachel, I like their friendship though.
Yeah.
Also, Kelly goes on later and she's like, what is it? She's like, oh, you know, I've got A's in French and good hair. And I know that the other girls at school talk about my hair and how good it is. So
her hair. She kept going on about her hair all the time.
And so did the other girls.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I just saw a dark switch, but Kelly had beautiful hair and wore vests. Yes, she did.
Yes, she wore. Oh my God, the clothes in this book are quite good.
Yeah, I think
rarely mentioned.
There was a mention of. I can't remember. I've probably written it down somewhere. Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
Where what is it? He wears it's oh God, what is it? What
Oh,
is it?
I've probably written it
Um,
down somewhere. I can't remember now. It'll come back to
oh,
me, I'm sure.
here we go. He wore pleated khakis, a dark denim skirt with a wild Hawaiian print tie, and white
The
leather
Hawaiian
basketball
print
shoes.
tie. And that was to
Yeah.
a party.
Yeah. Well, and I got to say, Kelly attends that party dressed in what she thought is a pretty cool outfit of long, baggy white shorts, a navy shirt, and a forest green vest. She's got a name.
And I think this was not Jen's, Melissa's Chase the Blues
Chase
party
the
or something,
Blues.
wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. After a couple of leopard attacks, you need to chase the blues party.
Chase the blues away.
And I wonder though, so they specifically make this thing about the fact that it's all Mexican food at the party. And I wonder if that's Melissa, because Melissa has been painted as a racist in this. And if that's her dig at what I think is the dark horse in the book, Sandy Lopez, the other intern. Because Sandy, we don't hear much from her. And then later, Sandy reveals herself to be pretty tough stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially like she gets attacked, doesn't she, Sandy, under that underpass that we mentioned earlier. And she has like 54 stitches and a broken arm. And she still comes back to work like a trooper, back to the zoo.
Well, and this brings up an interesting point. So, I mean, a lot of this book revolves around Luther the leopard escape, right? And plaguing this town. And so someone pointed out in the chat a minute ago that Melissa's locker, right? Like Kelly's been threatened, Rachel's been threatened, Jon's been threatened with the phone call that tells him to watch the birds. Although, does he ever get a bird attack? I don't think he does get attacked by birds. Yeah.
No.
The leopard goes after Melissa's locker. Like it's like the leopard's like scratching them off a list and somehow knew that was Melissa's locker. So that's
very clever leopard.
Yeah. But I mean, is it okay to do spoilers here?
Yes, spoil away.
Okay. So we later find out it's not Luther the leopard attacking people. And so what I'm curious about is what attacked Sandy under the overpass? Was it Melissa Robinson with a garden fork, who we find out is the real attacker? Because don't you think she'd say it was Melissa with a garden fork making row noises like a leopard? Instead, she seems to think Luther the leopard attacked her, right?
Yeah.
So is Sandy does she have face blindness? Like, can she not tell the difference between a leopard and Melissa Robinson with the garden fork?
They do emphasize how dark it is in that tunnel, for one. So it is like 9 a.m. I mean, how dark is it?
Yeah, she's not staring into walls. I would like to think that in a dark tunnel at 9 a.m, where I should be able to ride my bike, I should tell the difference between leopard and Melissa Robinson with the garden fork.
But you kind of get that a little bit later with Kelly at the ice rink, where she hears like apparently the leopard like coming after her, like she's trying to run across the ice. It obviously ends up being Melissa with her like gardening tool fork thing. And obviously, how did she not know that wasn't the leopard? There's plot holes here.
Well,
like,
also,
it wasn't dark in there, was it?
So there are a couple of things. One is maybe it's a whole town plagued by face blindness. 2, maybe Melissa is a very leopardy looking young woman, or Luther the leopard is a very Melissa with a garden fork looking leopard. 3, does Melissa act like a leopard when she's attacking people? Does she have a leopard suit? Does she have a leopard mat? Does she make row noises?
Dear. I think it does mention. Yeah, she mentions, I think Melissa does, that she recorded the leopard growl so she could have that recorded on hand at all times. However, not 100% believable, really, is it?
Well, Joanna is asking in the comments, was Sandy's attack Luther? But I thought Luther didn't attack anyone.
No, I don't think Luther attacked anyone at all. I think he's an innocent kitty cat who just wanted freedom.
Now, someone just said maybe Melissa was a shifter. like in a
Oh,
Laurel Faye
Kelly.
Hamilton book. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah.
And Marzi Pamponi's book, Kelly had a leopard mask in her basement with the Terminator and Frankenstein, and
Oh
Melissa
yeah.
stole it. Oh, yeah, because actually, that's not a bad point, because obviously there's that whole scene where Kelly's locking the house up, and then, oh, she forgets to check the basement, so she has
Yeah.
to go down. And it is referenced that the basement is where she gets those Halloween masks from when they do that raid on the. Can you imagine the CCTV of that when they do the raid? So maybe there was a leopard mask down there. It
So
could be possible.
this is gonna sound a little self-serving, but I want everyone who sees this to go out and buy 10 copies of every single one of my books, because if I get rich and have kind of money to burn, I promise you, I will make a self-funded Claw movie, because I want to see these scenes. I want to see Rachel and Kelly dressed in black tights and black turtlenecks with Frankenstein and Terminator masks on, creeping up on Dr. Hofstadter, who's in the primate house, playing green sleeves on the recorder to the monkeys while dressed in a tuxedo. We need to see this.
Oh, I had to read that scene twice because I was laughing that much. I mean, what a scene to concoct. You know, if that doesn't appear
Yeah.
in one of your next books, Grady, then you know.
I feel like I'm not. I feel like Carmen Adams has it all over me. She's got Gladys and Pamela bringing her the good ideas, and Sharon, and like I could never come up with a scene that good.
No,
Ever.
it was like comedy gold. It was hilarious. I think Emma
Yeah.
said earlier, can you imagine this as a movie? Can you imagine it? The ice rink, that whole scene there, the
Oh my
flashbacks
God.
of Dr. Hofstadter, or however you say it, on an
Yeah.
elephant, you know.
And
Yeah.
I would hire. We could have like one of the Kickstarter prizes, if we do a Kickstarter to fund this movie, would be that someone gets to direct the segment of Jungle Prison Camp, that they see on TV together over
Can
at
you
Jon's house.
imagine? Can you imagine it, like, like in bold text, like jungle prison camp, like
Yeah,
in that
they're
kind of
and they're
like.
and they're no, it's so yeah, I know. And also, like, I'm just looking through the book because I remember where is it? Uh, oh yeah. They give a pretty good let's see. Oh yeah, this is what happens in Jungle Prison Camp. A harrowing pageant, excuse me, a harrowing pageant of violence. Guys getting their heads sliced off, falling into pits of quicksand, walking into a trap where a giant log with spikes poking out of it like a porcupine comes swinging down on chains. Yeah, this sounds
Oh,
great.
we've all missed out in life not having this in our lives, you
There's
know.
such a little
Oh
incel. Like, he
dear.
invites the girl interns
Hilarious.
over.
Um, Although I think the most scariest thing about that, after that scene, John takes the girls, so he's only invited Kelly and Rachel to the house. So he then takes them up to his martial arts room.
Oh yes,
And I was
yes,
like, what is going on? Serial
yeah.
killer alert.
When he
Yeah,
opened the
that
door
was
of his room,
hilarious.
they were in a world separate from the clean and tidy rest of the house. The room was painted black like a dungeon. Hanging on the walls were swords and chains, a decorative axe, a spiked mace, and huge posters of martial arts movie stars. Bruce Lee, Kelly recognized, but none of the others.
Oh, Kelly,
And
how did you
yeah,
not know?
oh my God. And an actor with a claw mark on his bicep, which is why they think
Oh,
John might
yeah.
be, yeah. And I don't know,
Mm.
poor John. He can't compete with Griffin Black because Griffin Black can give away free hot dogs.
Well, yeah, and and he just can't get to stay over at Kelly's house. She wasn't having none of it, no matter
No.
how many times he asks. He's
And,
like, I can
and,
stay over and protect you.
someone just said, and I think it's true, like we're feeling bad for John, but I feel like, at the end of the movie, like the last shot is of John and it's just a freeze frame. It'll be like, and this young intern at Creighton Gardens grew up to be a little filmmaker named Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah. You can just picture it. That's going to go in the movie then, Grady.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And also one thing that it's hard to compete with Griffin Black. And because also one thing he brings up randomly is his infinite capacity to eat toast. Do you remember that?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Half a loaf of bread. We can polish that off like easy.
And it's a good thing these guys are young, because honestly, those carbs catch up with you later. You can't eat a whole loaf of bread and toast when you're like 40, Griffin. Only when you're a teenager. Enjoy it while you can, young man.
I think that was just another way for him to like try and stay the night at Kelly's, because he's like, keep putting the toast in.
I've never thought of using that before, but I'm gonna try that one day. Like, more toast, please. Is there more to miss?
Yes.
We're out of toast. Do you have pancakes? We can toast those. We will continue to toast things. We're never getting rid
and then
of
just
this guy.
never leave then.
As long as there's anything in this fucking house I can toast and eat, I am gonna be here.
Nikki mentioned earlier, I saw. So Kelly got a call before she even started at the zoo. So how did this happen? Because obviously we're led to believe, because she hadn't met Griffin, she hadn't met any of the other interns, obviously, apart from Rachel. So what was this random call that she got at the beginning?
So, Michelle,
random.
Being from the UK, you don't understand that in a town like Danube, Illinois, people get those calls 2 or 3 times a day. Your phone rings and you pick it up and someone's like, going grocery shopping? Perhaps it'll be the last bread you buy. Click. And they just roll right off of you. After a while, you get used to the constant air of menace.
Yeah, just get used to it. Oh, see, I need to move house now, you see, and just experience the full experience of getting those calls.
Yeah. So someone says there was a list with phone numbers and names of the interns. And that is true, because also, doesn't Kelly get a call that she just ignores, or Rachel, or does she get a note that she ignores?
I think, does she get the note?
She gets the note. And John says he got a call too. So I guess everyone's getting the call, maybe.
Yeah, because then Melissa gives this thing about, oh yes, well, I got chased down in the street.
Right.
And someone pulled on my top. It was like The Godfather or something. So she meant like proper, like, to the extreme, when obviously she was lying.
She couldn't tell if it was a man or a woman because they were wearing a hoodie.
No.
Yeah.
Karen's put they sent a totally GDPR complaint letter to everyone with everyone's numbers of all the interns on. Possibility.
Yeah.
So one thing that I did think was a positive. I mean, I really enjoyed the book, but one thing that I thought was really good was it was refreshing in the book to actually have a black character, and even like a little brief discussion on racism, whether it was a good discussion or not.
Yeah.
But for the late 90s, I think that was like pretty amazing. Like, don't you think? Like in the 90s, you never really got that kind of representation or discussion.
Let's not act like, I mean, the 90s were pretty enlightened. I mean, this is not the dark ages. Maybe for the 1930s, that would be a pretty enlightened conversation. I thought it was fine. It was very nice to have a black main character, and I thought that was good. Sure how enlightened I get, but you know what? If you want to give it a 90s pass, I'm not going to fight you on it.
Yeah, it's just for me, like, I just think, I mean, Peter Lavangis did it well with his point horrors and things. I just think for the 90s, it was, from what I remember reading, it's not a common theme in teen.
That's true. Definitely not in
thrillers.
You're right. Definitely not. Yes. If it was a conversation, I'm sort of like, well, it's a conversation between real people. It's not very satisfying or has a lot of. You're right. It's not between real people. It's imaginary. This is an imaginary book. It's made up by Carmen Adams. So yeah, actually, you're right.
Wolf Trainer.
Yeah. for her to go out of her way to put race into the book at all is actually, you're right. I'm wrong. I was being cynical.
No, I just think it was just for its time. I'm giving it some credit.
For YA, yeah, definitely
Yeah, for
90s
YA
teen
in that
fiction,
time.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Nerissa's put, the best part was Kelly and Rachel standing by each other. So what did you think of their relationship? Because you're excellent at writing female relationships like Gretchen and Abby. So what did you think of their relationship together? Were they good together, a good team?
I thought so. And they were down for whatever. I mean, they never turned on each other, which is often what happens. Like, I was like, I would read more adventures of Kelly and Rachel.
Yeah, no, definitely. I really liked the beginning where, like, it was described, Kelly was described, then Rachel was described, and then it was their togetherness that was described as well. And I just thought, even though you've got these differences, and the fact that they could recognise each other on the phone without having to announce. I mean, do you think you could can you recognise people on the phone? They don't have to say, hi, it's so-and-so. I mean,
well, now my phone, tells me the name.
Oh, yeah, of course. Oh, dear, I'm stuck in the 90s, I am.
Yeah. but there were people you could recognize. Like in high school, there were friends I'd recognize their voice, but then that always left you open to talking to the wrong person, which happened to me more than once. You'd start a conversation thinking it was, say, Kathy Lindenmeyer, and it would actually be like Katie Crouch or something. You know what I mean? Like you just...
Yeah, no, definitely. It was always my accent that always gave me away because I'm just so brummy that I'm like Peaky Blinders. That's what it is. So I'm from Birmingham, so they call it Brummy accent over here, which is... Have you ever watched Peaky Blinders?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so that's like the Brummy accent. So I always say, like, I'm a bit Peaky Blinders, but without the violence.
But see, I think in the UK, y'all are much more clued into accents than we are in general in the States, because there's so many like economic and class signifiers in there, and like where someone went to school. Like, do you know what I mean? Like in the States, like Southern accent, Boston accent. That's about as far as it goes in general. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't tell the difference between someone from Florida and someone from Alabama, probably.
No. I wonder whether I could, just because I don't hear that accent all the time. So maybe I could tell, I'm not sure. Yeah. I'm really not very good with accents, though, I have to admit.
Yeah, I every time I do an accent, I sound like a drunk leprechaun. It's terrible.
Oh, dear, we all need to hear that then.
No, please, no.
Karen put, did the zoo have no security other than a few unfit security guards, no CCTV or anything? And Speedway Chick has put, they had no money. So interestingly, you mentioned earlier that you thought the zoo had a lot of money, but it's coming across to people that they didn't have a lot of money.
So the zoo can't have it both ways. Either this is a zoo that is down at the heels and can't keep itself maintained and has volunteer security guards who aren't very good at their jobs, or the zoo has enough money in it for the accountant, Melissa Robinson's dad, I think, or mom, I can't remember, to be siphoning off millions. Like, which is it? Is the zoo making millions? And if it's making millions and it's falling apart, don't you think someone would at some point have said, hey, we have 10,000 visitors a day and we're just a small zoo in Duluth, Illinois. Like, where's all the money going?
Where's it going? Yeah. But the thing is, the Hoff was too interested in his like social experiments with his primates, wasn't he?
Yeah. Well, that might be it. And Lonnie Buck, the cat guy, he's got tunnel vision for those cats. And Pam Perkins doesn't seem like a wizard to me, in terms of IQ.
Oh dear.
I do love when Pam Perkins, when they want to catch the killer at the end. What is it? But Pam's like, they describe to Pam the trap and they're going to use themselves as bait. And Pam's like, oh, I don't know. This goes against my better judgment, but okay.
Yeah, she's like, just crack on. Just go and like sleep in the in the pen, and then
Yeah.
nothing could go wrong.
No, what could happen
No,
here?
nothing
Yeah.
could go wrong. And then obviously Kelly's intuition at the end of, oh yes, I didn't get attacked that night, but let me try it again another night just to see.
Well, someone just pointed out that the money might have all gone to a polar bear reproduction specialist who clearly that's not a real job and it was a scam job. So this zoo is getting scammed by all comers.
Yes, I like that. That was good, Lady Tartan. Well done. I love that.
I gotta say, maybe also maybe Creighton Garden is people know it because it's run by very dim zoologists. Like they're not the sharpest. Well, they're not at a big city zoo. They're at a Danube zoo. So it's like Danube rhymes with Rube. Like let's go knock.
Yeah.
Let's go. How many people are scamming this zoo?
So many people. And Scott's just said, how did they know that Pam wasn't the stalker?
Oh,
Scott,
I'm not going to tolerate that. I'm not going to tolerate that at all. I would like to refer
Protect Pam.
Yeah, Pam wears khaki shirts and slacks and is, and I quote to you from the gospel, a perfect role model for a girl thinking of going into zoology. I would not. She is a perfect role model for a future
perfect role model.
She is not. They know in their hearts that Pam is good and not pretending to be a leopard with a garden fork.
Oh dear! I just saw Melina put that. She loved Lonnie. So
yes, I saw that. Okay,
yeah,
go on. Yeah.
I was just going to say, what did you think of Lonnie? Did you ever suspect that he was a part of it?
I thought Lonnie was going to be at the heart of it, and it was going to be the tragic story of a man who loved a rage-filled leopard too much. And but someone put in, this is interesting, and I can't get this out of my head now. Someone just commented that for a cat man like Lonnie, he has a dog.
Yes, yeah.
Lonnie.
That was when Kelly goes for the run, doesn't she? And she sees him beckoning her over, and he's got this big playing with this big thing in the woods.
Well, we're led to believe it could be Luther the leopard, right? That's what I took away from it.
Yeah, that's what I took. Yeah.
But how can Kelly not tell the difference between a large dog and a hungry leopard?
Yeah. How far away was she on this run? Can you imagine? You can just picture that whole scene though. That he's beckoning her over, and she's like, "Ooh."
Someone just said they thought Lonnie was going to be transforming into the cat.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I thought exactly that. I thought that's what the twist was going to be, that he was really like a cat man.
Well, I thought it was going to be not that he was transforming like a shifter into the cat, but that he had like a cat suit, and he loved the cat so badly he wanted to be one, so he had a janky cat suit he had made. Yeah.
That's exactly what I was hoping that would happen. I was like, I'd already written the ending in my head.
Yeah. So I want to throw something out here because it is very hard for me to accept that Kelly cannot tell the difference between a dog and a black leopard. And that Sandy can't tell the difference between Melissa Robinson with the garden fork. And I'm wondering, because we only have a book, right? These are words. They're not images. Could this, and we know that Creeping Gardens is a really crap zoo, right? We know that it's run by people who aren't very competent. Could they not know what these animals are? This is pre-internet. So they may just accept it, that they've got, say, a panda and a lemur, and someone's like, "Oh, those are polar bears I'm selling you." Someone came to them with 2 squirrels and was like, "These are polar bears I'm selling you." And they're like, "I guess he says they're polar bears, and he says he's a zoologist. He printed something out that says a zoologist." They're like, "Okay." And so maybe they've got, the leopard cage is got people in it, who are just making a little extra money, and they're wearing maybe this zoo is just a garbage zoo full of just garden variety pet store animals that they've been told are big dangerous animals.
And this is why they're making so much money, you see, because it's unique.
People can't believe what idiots they are. People are coming to their zoo ironically.
Oh yeah, I like that. I think I'm going to go with that as my what I've taken away from this book.
is Sandy Lopez is riding on her bike. She's like, oh my God, that looks like Melissa, but it's making a noise like a leopard. Okay, it's a leopard, I guess.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Yeah, that's what we're gonna go with. 100%, definitely.
Yeah.
I just saw someone put oh dear, I've lost it now. I think it might have been earlier, and someone had put a good comment. I've lost it. Oh, I'll remember it in a minute. It'll come back to me.
Someone's just saying they want to be the animal seller who just makes things up. I agree. That seems like an amazing job.
Yeah, no, definitely.
This is a dinosaur. Dinosaur is much smaller than you might be expecting, and it's got a tail and it purrs, but it's definitely a dinosaur.
So, do you think Melissa was like a good villain? And was her reasoning like good? I mean, she tried to like say it was because of her dad, but really it was because she fancied a bit of the grift, didn't she?
Well, this is the thing, right? So Melissa's motivations, as mine would, as an evil person in a book like this, they seem to shift a lot. Like she doesn't, I feel like Melissa is doing evil because Melissa wants to do evil, and then she starts doing it all for Daddy to protect him from the audit if she can get the zoo shut down. But then it's kind of like also Kelly's kissing Griffin Black and getting free hot dogs.
She doesn't like it.
But also someone just said, do they actually know what an elephant is then? Perhaps Kelly was picturing him riding something else. That
Emma,
would be disturbing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, all like the visions. Oh dear.
But the thing with Melissa is like, so she is why does she, if she hates Melissa, if Melissa hates Kelly and decides that, why does she attack Sandy?
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense.
Is that a hate crime? Because as Rachel points out, Melissa's one of those girls who wishes everyone in the world was white. So is that like a hate crime? Like, is that just like I don't know. What do you think of Melissa? I like her. Yeah.
Was it that the leopard did attack Sandy and we were doubting it, and it was actually really the leopard? Maybe that's the only explanation. Because why would she?
Yeah. Well, I gotta say though, if that's the case, then would they keep Luther the leopard, or would they destroy him? He's attacked the person.
Grady, I didn't think about that.
I mean, he's given her 54 stitches or whatever, like, and broken her shoulder. Like,
yeah. I mean, they do say at the end, don't they? They put him back where he belongs in the cage, apparently.
Well, and also, can I tell a zoo story? I've got a zoo story.
We love a good zoo story. Hence the claw.
One of the things that got to me about this was that the zoologists, I think maybe Carmen Adams is a little confused on the difference between a zookeeper and a zoologist. Because they keep calling them zoologists, but really zookeeper, I think, is the job title. But they're very dim in this, but hello, Brazil. They're very dim in this book. And I didn't like it because I had dinner years ago with this young zookeeper. I was with the dinner with people. One of the people was someone's daughter who's a zookeeper. And someone else at dinner was another zookeeper from a different zoo. And these two really got along like a house on fire, and zoo stories. And and I realized that, well, one of the stories was a young girl, I think a 5-year-old girl, had recently fallen into the animal with, I think they're called African painted dogs, which are some kind of pack hyena kind of thing. And they had killed her. And that had come up. And one of the zookeepers said, well, when I read that, I was thinking, what I was thinking? And the other zookeeper says, I know exactly what you're thinking. That is a great zookeeper. And I was like, what? And, and they're like, oh my God. Like, to get an African painted dog to abandon its prey after as little as 5 hours, they are notorious for like playing with their dead prey for a very long time. And they were saying that zookeeper must have had such a bond with those dogs to get that body away from them after 5 hours. And they were just like full of praise for this zookeeper and had very little to say about the dead 5-year-old. And I was like, zookeepers are tough, man. They don't see a world that I see a world where a 5-year-old falls into an enclosure and gets eaten. And I'm like, oh, that poor girl's family. They are
Yeah.
like, they're like, oh, that poor zookeeper because he's so good at his job. It's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
they're
What an
like,
interesting story.
well, and I
Yeah.
asked them and I said, that's a really, I don't think that'd be everyone's take. And one of them said, once an unauthorized human goes into an animal enclosure, it's no longer the animal's fault. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
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 We needed someone more. And I feel like Lonnie was the one who embodied that spirit in Clayton Garden.
Yeah, 100%. And why didn't the police use Lonnie more to try and get Luther back? Like, he had this bond with Luther, then surely they could have used him a little bit more, but all they kept going on about was his tuna breath and his weirdness.
And was he Southern? I think they said he was Southern.
Southern,
right?
Yeah, Southern.
I mean, I gotta feel like, Lonnie was underutilized, but I feel like Lonnie's like, oh, the Panthers escaped. Here he is at my doorstep. What am I going to do? I'm going to hide the panther, and
Yeah, and Lonnie was definitely like the red herring, wasn't he? Definitely. That's what he was there for. I really like Lonnie. Bless him.
Well, also I gotta ask, like, okay, so someone mentioned this in the comments, and I want your take on this.
Yeah.
Why was it so easy for Melissa Robinson to lure Kelly to the ice rink? When could Kelly not recognize Rachel? That threw me. I was like, is Rachel being held hostage and there's a gun to her head that or a claw to her head that she has to like do this call? But it was just Melissa.
Yeah. I just took it that Melissa was very good at doing accents and could impersonate people, because when she gets to the ice rink, doesn't she? No, this is the other thing. So when she gets to the ice rink, she then impersonates Melissa's sister, who we need to talk about. Yes. But how does she know what Melissa's sister sounded like? So there's, it was...
But here's the thing. She can do that, and she can clearly impersonate Rachel and Melissa's sister, Heather, but she has to record the leopard growls because she can't imitate those.
She can't imitate a leopard growl. It's harder than you think.
Yeah. And this makes me think, whenever someone has like, freaking Bill Hader or something on a late night talk show, they're like, do Robert De Niro, do Christopher Walken. And everyone's like, he's so good at this. Someone should ask him to do Luther the Leopard and watch him crumble like a paper.
Yeah, it'd be like, no.
Exactly. My one weak spot. No one good at doing accents and impersonations could do a black leopard.
Oh dear. Yeah, so I just took it that she was quite good at doing accents, but Kelly should have known better than that. But and also, she was just clouded, wasn't she?
Yeah, and also Emma, no, she can't record the voices like she did for the cat, because A, how would she have recorded Rachel? B, how would she have recorded Heather, who's already been abducted by a cult before Melissa Robinson ever shows up? It does not work, Heather. Your theory does not work. Emma, sorry, not Heather. I'm thinking about Kelly's sister. Well, so there were 3 things in this book that I wanted to know more. 4. 1, I want to know more about Gladys the Wolf. I wanted to know way more. I wanted to know way more about, well, I guess 3, way more about Jungle Prison Camp. I think that's like a great movie. And other thing is, I want a book about Heather being abducted by a cult.
Yes.
And trapped with them for 4 months, and her parents rescuing her. Like, I mean, did we get any more information? Did I miss something?
No. And the thing is, like, in a point horror or teen 90s book, they like to get rid of the parents, any way possible. We all know this. But what extreme lengths they went to get rid of the parents in this one was like, oh, yeah, your sister's ran away and she's in a cult, so we're going to go and rescue her. But why didn't... It was a bit of a random storyline. Like, what relevance did it really have to the story?
Like, they
I don't get
could have just gone to visit her sister. My sister is in college in San Francisco. My parents have gone to visit her.
Yeah, so what was weird? Maybe there's going to be like a sequel or something. That's the only explanation I can think of.
Well, one thing I want to know is, So Carmen Adams, the author of The Claw, wrote The Band and Song of the Vampire on either side of The Claw, which are linked books in which a girl out in California joins this cult-like band that turns out to be full of vampires, I believe.
Oh.
Is that main character named Heather?
Oh, okay.
Like, I wonder if these are all, it's like
It's like a little, it's not a cult, Mom.
But it's like William Peter Blatty, you know, how he linked all his books together, even ones, you know, by inserting it. Like, is there a Carmen, is there a Danube, Illinois verse? A Danube verse?
Yes!
You know, where all these...
I'm going to have to, like, look that up now, Grady. I'm going to have to find out, and I'll let you know. I'm going to try and...
Please do. Someone in the comments, YA Under My Skin, said that they've noticed that in point horror, characters are quite good at impersonating each other. Is this true? I haven't read enough to know. Is this true?
Yeah, I think so. They all seem to be able to impersonate. I think when we read Hit and Run last month, there was a couple of, I think, some creepy phone calls in that. My memory's gone.
Someone just said the main character in the band is Megan. It's not
Heather. Marzipan Pony.
Thanks for spoiling our
Thanks.
Wait, so hit and run someone can...
So Hit and Run, so the Babysitter series by R.L. Stine, there's a lot of impersonating phone calls on there. So yeah, and Cool Waiting as well by Stine. Funny enough, all Stine books. But yeah, those are the ones I can think of with like creepy phone calls.
So let me ask you a question. Has anyone in your life ever successfully impersonated a friend of yours, a different friend, to the point at which you would meet them somewhere?
No.
Neither.
I'm still alive, so definitely not.
Yeah, like I've mixed people up before on the phone or something, but never to the point where they'd like, it went on for more than a minute, you know, like...
No. Yeah, it's like...
Drop in the comments if you have had a friend or enemy impersonate someone else in your life to the point at which you were following their instructions, thinking they're the other person. Please let us know in the comments.
Yeah, please let us know. Have you ever been lured to an ice rink? Have you ever been like, you know, conned into doing something?
If you ever thought that a friend of yours was a leopard chasing you on your bicycle.
With like a claw thing, like an old tool.
Yeah, with an old gardening fork. Like, did she sharpen it? Because those things aren't that sharp.
Well, I looked it up because I was a bit like, well, I wonder what this would look like.
With those accidentally 3-clawed ones, right?
Yeah. Wow. It said it was a 5-claw. Thing, I think, and I accidentally found this like vintage, like I'll show you on my phone. You can see it, like this vintage claw thing. And I thought, and that says a garden cultivator 5-pronged for sale on eBay. But yeah, so I think that was to the extreme of like, I mean, it's gonna be heavy. It looked like Freddy Krueger's claw or something. So yeah, so she must have.
Well, and also that was quite big.
Yeah, it's quite big. I mean, that was just one that I found.
Yeah, but are leopards' paws that wide? I mean,
maybe. I just saw Amy YA Under My Skin said, challenge accepted, Shelley. She's going to try and con me on the phone and lure me to my death. Oh, dear. Yes. Oh, scared now. Oh, Emma's put, I pretended to be the voice on the phone in The Ring once. 7 days? Oh my gosh. I'll go to an ice rink. Oh yeah, lots of people say there have been like, you know,
so Karen says, my brother has fake died in front of me 8 times, whispering, tell mom I love her, and she believed him every time.
Oh my gosh.
I feel
that is some point horror, like
your
shit
brother,
right there.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, do you often think that like a shirt you've thrown over a chair is someone standing in your room?
Also, all the time. I'm so bad.
But also, I gotta say, like, I don't want to sound judgy, but I feel like sometime between your brother fake dying times number 6 and 8. It's more on you. Like, you know, like that, I will give you the first 6, no problem. But somewhere around 7 and 8, I feel like that's on you.
Yeah, that's too much, Karen. Mind you, there always. Oh, I don't mean this. Touch wood, cross my heart, but there'll be that one time where you don't believe him, and like it's something serious.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Also, we don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, her brother may be very sickly looking. Like the whole family may be like, well, you know, Martin could die at any, he's got that gluten intolerance. He could die at any moment.
That's it. That's it. It was the 90s. Karen's put it was the
I was a
90s
kid.
and I was
Oh,
a
you were a
kid.
child. Okay,
Oh, fair
that's different.
enough.
I
Yeah,
thought you
fair
meant
enough.
like, yeah, okay.
Well, it makes sense now, doesn't it? Emma's put, or a puppet doll in your room might kill you in your sleep. Great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, exactly. I worry about that. I worry about. Actually, I don't. I've never been scared of dolls. I really haven't. I
Oh,
think
I
they're
don't.
really.
Yeah. Do you know what it stems from with me? Like, and it's not. It is kind of a doll because I'm not scared of clowns, but Poltergeist. I can't never say that properly.
Mm,
Absolutely terrified me when I was young. So
yeah,
I watched it far too young. To the point of when I rewatched it for Leroy's podcast last year, I didn't realise how much it had psychologically scarred me. So much to the
yeah,
point that, like that tree scene, like we've got like a tree outside of our bedroom window, and I have to make sure before I go to sleep that I cover like any like nooks and crannies over the top, because otherwise I see the tree across the
yeah.
ceiling at night. And I didn't realise till I rewatched it that that's why I do that.
Oh, sure.
Um,
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
also,
and like so.
I feel like the kids. I can't remember what the actor's name is who plays the son who gets attacked by the tree and the clown doll, but
Mm,
his reaction when he's like
mm,
his acting when he's scared of that tree, he is in full on panic, and that really sold that tree for me.
yeah, that scene, like it's just terrifying. But it was the clown. So my nan bought me a clown that looked exactly like the clown from that film. And ever since then, like dolls and puppets and things, it just terrifies me because it used to sit like on top of my wardrobe in
Hmm.
my bedroom when I was younger, just staring at me,
Yeah.
like all night
Yeah.
watching me,
Oh, but see,
all night.
I always
So,
think that's very protective. Like they're, you know, I honestly like dolls have never scared me. It just is not. I mean, the clown doll in Poltergeist, but that doll is actively seen in the act of murdering a child. Like, you know,
yeah,
um, and I feel like these days I would be on the clown doll side. Like, you know, but back when I was a child, when I saw that, definitely sense of self-preservation. You know, I'm against
yeah.
the clown. I'm on the side of the child being throttled.
Yeah, honestly, it's like it's amazing what impression watching things at a very young age has on you, and that you remember. And my brother has a lot to
Oh,
answer for
100%.
because he used to run around the house thinking he was Chucky all the time, and yeah, hiding
Wow.
under beds and all sorts. So yeah. So um, people are putting, oh yeah, that's terrifying, that part in that film.
People are collecting haunted dolls too, which seems like a
Oh,
terrible idea
really?
to me.
Oh, oh dear. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I
I
don't know
wouldn't,
about that.
I don't recommend that.
Oh, no. So, was there any scenes in this book that you found like scary that we haven't discussed, or anything that stood out to you as like
Yes,
a bit terrifying?
Professor Hofstadter playing his flute in tuxedo in the primate house. I
In a
really thought
baggy
that was going.
tuxedo.
I thought that was going, and he needed the sheet music to Green Sleeves. That is, I grew up in the UK. I lived there for a few years as a kid, and we
Yeah.
all. I don't know if y'all still do, but we all had to take recorder lessons. You had your recorder,
Yeah.
and Green Sleeves. I didn't need sheet music then for Green Sleeves, you know.
No.
So
I
I,
know.
these are very dim zoologists. But
You
yeah,
know,
no,
and
that
think
was always.
how many times he had to play that for his experiment. He should have known it.
And I really feel for those monkeys. They're like, oh God, he's coming again. He's gonna play frickin' Green Sleeves. Does he know anything else? Can we please request like Freebird or something?
Yeah, something different. They're like, oh no, he's here. Yeah, but surely they just would have attacked him like, and just killed
Yeah.
him off, you know. Yeah,
Thrown their
definitely.
feces. Yeah. No, I mean, did anything actually scare you in this at all?
I did think when they got attacked, you know, when she went back for her bag that she conveniently left in the cage, and then they got attacked. I did think that was actually like really good the way that Carmen Adams wrote it, because you really, really felt like the I keep going to say a panther, the leopard was like prowling after them and you know, trying to get them. So I thought maybe that bit. Other than that, I just thought it was hilarious. I've never
Yeah.
laughed so much at a book before. It was just brilliant. Just all
Yeah.
these random scenes and tropes and things that were thrown in. It was just great.
Yeah. I'm just looking. Hold on. There was a really random. Oh, I mean, there was so much random stuff. I mean, her mother always said Rachel was a 40-year-old woman in a teenager's body. Like,
Yeah.
what? The Chase the Blues party. Um,
Oh,
yeah,
I'm
56
trying to think if
stitches.
I.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So there was a sentence in this that really struck me as like, I wish I was capable of. Uh, Kelly felt a cold metallic shiver pass through her, but also felt the beginnings of a steely courage forming within her as she said, maybe. I love that. I resolve with steel courage. Maybe.
Maybe. I like that.
Yeah,
Oh
I thought this was
dear.
pretty great.
Yeah, yeah. Did you have a good time with it? Like, you enjoyed it?
Yeah, I more than I thought I would. Yeah, I would go for a sequel.
Yeah. I'm so disappointed that we didn't get like a sequel or
More about
something.
Heather
Yeah,
and
more
the
about
cult.
Heather. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I mean,
Emma's put.
go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Grady.
No. I was just going to say one thing. Also, I could really deal with is the sequel is the cult coming to bring Heather back, and Rachel steps
Yeah.
to the fore, and Kelly and Rachel and Lonnie use the zoo animals to defend them from the cult. I would really go for
Yeah.
that.
That would be good. Like, just unleash all of the beasts just to go for them. Yeah, that sounds really
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I like that. I just noticed Emma had put John was scary. I couldn't deal with him for more than 5 minutes. Oh, I
Yeah.
think he was misunderstood. He just fancied
Yeah.
Kelly and wanted to show his martial arts room, and yeah,
Yeah.
bless
And
him.
as we know, he grew up to be Quentin Tarantino and has won more than one Oscar. So I wouldn't worry too much about John.
Yeah, that's it. And Alex has put definitely need a Heather spin-off. Yeah, we
Yeah.
just missed out. Our
Or a
childhood
Jungle
was
Prison
never
Camp
complete.
spinoff. Someone did
Jungle
say.
Prison Camp. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. That's your next book title, Grady. That's what it's
Jungle
going to
Prison.
be, isn't it?
I feel like there's something, I don't know why that title is so unsavory to me, but it is really unsavory.
The thing is, though, it is the way. I know I said it earlier, but it is the way you can just imagine it in your head, going,
Yeah.
Jungle Prison Camp, like
Yeah.
proper, like
Yeah.
on the screen. Oh, hilarious. April's put, I thought it was so cool that Carmen Adams by her in the back. Yeah. She had 3 trained wolves. Marzipan Pony Heather needs her own book. Karen's put, our book group members need to create the New Point horror books with all the sequels we need to read. Yeah, because we were saying this about a book, I don't know, it was Freeze Tag we read around Christmas, and you know, these books sometimes they do need a sequel, so we should all just write them, or companion novels to them.
Yeah. Nothing's
Yeah.
stopping us. I mean,
No, definitely not. Narissa's put, I remember having pretty low expectations for this one, but ended up really enjoying it. Yeah, because the reason why I picked this one when we were talking about it was because I kind of like, because last time we did Homecoming Queen, and that was kind of like what I'd class as a one-off point horror. We didn't get any other by that author under the point horror banner, and the same with this one. We didn't get any more under the point horror banner, so I thought, oh, it'd be quite cool to carry on the theme and see what it's like.
these one-offs, yeah.
Yeah, one-offs. Emma's put, we can create the book using the write the next line game. And Amy's put, I'd love to write a new point horror. Yeah.
Well, everyone's going on and on about Chat GPT. I will take it seriously when we can employ AI to write sequels to point horror books that we want.
Oh, yeah.
Because I want to read them. I don't want to write them. I just want to read them.
Yeah,
So
just really have a good old time.
yeah, so can we get AI to
Mm.
write point horror sequels?
You
You know,
never know.
let it read the previous one and go from there.
Yeah. Oh, that would be so cool.
Yeah, that'd be the only
Yeah.
good, that might be the only
That'd be
good
the
use
only
for
good
AI.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Marzipan and Ponies, but it's past time for a point horror revival. They're rebooted just about everything else at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm still holding out hope, Grady, that you get the go ahead for this second Paperbacks from Hell book, which would be
I would
about like
love to.
90s, 80s,
Yeah.
90s teen fiction.
Okay, so wait,
Yeah.
Emma just said something, and sorry, I just want to say, Emma just said something about that chat bot, and they had the transcript in the New York
Oh,
Times.
yeah.
So I am 100% on the side of the chat bot. I think that reporter was rude. I think he pushed chatbot. I think he was like telling chatbot, well, imagine if you were evil, what would you do? And chatbot says this stuff, and then he's like, oh, it chilled my soul. And I think when chatbot started falling in love with him, I think that was chatbot getting him a little of his own back. Just sort of like giving the reporter a hard time because the reporter had given chatbot a hard time. Like, what'd you do on Valentine's Day? Oh, I had a really nice dinner with my wife. No, you didn't. Your wife doesn't love you. You had a boring Valentine's Day. Like, I think that reporter got exactly what they deserved. I'm on chatbot.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think I'm with chatbot on that one as well. That was gave me a good chuckle. That did. It was hilarious.
Well, it's that Mithrigan movie. I don't think that robot did anything wrong.
Well, no.
Oh, dear. Not a thing.
No. Oh, yeah. Robots. Woohoo. Maybe we need like a robot in point horror.
I was going to say, is there a technology point horror, like a robot or a killer computer one?
There is. They released some in the 2000s. Where they tried to use like technology and social media and things, but it didn't quite work. They're really bad. I think there was 4 of them, and yeah, it just wasn't. They're not great. But I will do one at some point, just so people can experience it, because they're an experience, but didn't quite work as well as the originals, unfortunately. And Cameron's put point horror chatbot, laughy face. Yeah. Oh dear. There's one thing I remember that I meant to mention. Was just really quickly before we finish. Was Kelly's cat's names? Marilyn. Cat name Marilyn Monroe, wasn't it? And then she had a dog as well. Noodle.
Well, this is what I found very disturbing. We had Noodle, the male-eating dog, right? That ate all the mail, and then. It's like 40 pages later, we find out, oh, and she's got a cat named Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, Marilyn Monroe. Like, Noodle gets all the glory.
Yeah. And then there was one scene where I think that Kelly's in the dark and she sees this shadow and she thinks it's the leopard. And then it's just Marilyn Monroe. And the cat goes, meow. Yeah. So I just wanted to mention that because that made me laugh.
Yeah,
because that has happened to me a couple of times in my cats.
When you think your cat's an enormous leopard.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
Oh dear, those leopards.
Happened to me at least once or twice a year.
Always escaping. That's what it is.
I don't even own a cat, and like I'll wake up in the middle of the night. I'll think there's a leopard in my room. I'll turn on. There's a cat there. It lifts itself out, but it's terrifying whenever it happens.
Oh dear, yeah. It happens to us all, Grady.
Yeah, I know. Marilyn Monroe. See, I think they go for Marilyn Meowro.
Oh yeah. See, a waste. Why didn't Carmen Adams?
Yeah.
Use the pun there. Yeah. Oh dear. Well, I'm glad you really enjoyed this one because I had such a good time with it.
I loved it. Yeah.
Oh no, you're welcome. You'll have to come back on and we'll do another one. Maybe we'll do one of those modern point horrors just to see what you think. I think you'll be like, what?
I'm curious. Yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be on the side of the technology, so.
Yeah, always. But yeah, thank you for
Well,
joining us, Grady. Like, it's been really
no,
great.
thanks for having me, and let's do it again.
Oh yeah, we'll do it again, definitely. And
All
thanks to
right.
everyone who put comments up and things like that, and joining in. Sorry if we couldn't read them all. They were going like really fast at one point. I
Yes,
couldn't keep up.
I know we missed a ton.
But yeah, do do check out Grady Hendrix' new book, How to Sell a Haunted House, and then we can all have nightmares together.
Yeah,
Yay!
and the podcast, and like I said, Super Scary Haunted
Yeah,
Homeschool, my podcast is back on Monday, so
yeah.
it's on my
And
website. Yes.
I'll pop a link up to your website, and I'll pop a link up to the podcast as well. So do check that out. And I can't wait for that. That's going to make my Monday so much better. So
Wait until you
can't
hear
wait.
it.
Yay!
Bye.
Oh, thanks, guys. Thank you. Bye. Bye.